Fire station number 8 sits at the corner of East Atherton and Red Arrow Roads in Flint, Michigan, right across from the Flint Golf Club. This was the front door of fire station number 8 late this morning. It says, out of supplies. Over the weekend, there was this great news out of Flint, finally, when Michigan Governor Rick Snyder finally announced that fire stations in town would be handing out water filters and safe, clean, bottled water that had not been poisoned by lead the way that Flint's tap water had been. Up until this weekend, unbelievably, there has been no government-run water distribution of any kind in Flint. But now, even today, 6 days into this official state of emergency and just 2 days after the state announced that people would be able now to get water and water filters and all these supplies at their local fire stations, they're still not doing it. NBC affiliate WDIV visited this firehouse, one of the 5 water resource sites just established this weekend, and as of today, Monday, 2 days after this whole program with the firehouses started, this one was already completely out of supplies. In fact, 3 of the 5 designated firehouses WDIV went to today were out of or very low on water, and the promised free lead testing kits were nowhere to be found. That said, the city of Flint did have 100% more Governor Rick Snyder in it today. For the first time since he signed the disaster declaration, Governor Snyder did go to Flint himself. He has managed the crisis mostly from the Capitol in Lansing thus far, but today he went to Flint and reporters got to ask him about conditions in that town.
Governor, with all due respect, what is taking so long? I mean, you say that you've learned about the situation in its entirety in October. Today at fire stations, there's no water, there's no filter at many stations. People outside tell us that they feel helpless, they feel stranded, and frankly, they don't believe you anymore. At what point do things change? Why isn't FEMA out here right now with trucks handing out water to people that need it?
Well, again, I think you're going to find the fire stations hopefully do have water and filters.
They don't today.
We started ramping up. Again, this whole process in terms of providing resources to people, we had been doing that for months, but we need to do more. And so that's the whole process. That was part of the declaration done by the mayor, followed by the county, followed by the state, and we're going through the appropriate protocols to get that done with the federal government.
But it's not working. There's no water right now at the fire station on Atherton Road. There's no filters. So whatever you've been doing is not working.
Well, we're continuing to work hard. It shows there's demand, and we're going to continue to step up our efforts to make sure we take care of that.
It shows there's demand. Yes, because people need water. It's not a good sign that you still can't get it to them. This weekend, the Detroit Free Press, Michigan's largest paper, ran an editorial comparing Governor Snyder's response in Flint to President George W. Bush's disastrous response to Hurricane Katrina. That same editorial board twice endorsed Snyder for governor. Now they're calling his actions shameful and maddening. They're castigating him for heaping misery on the people of Flint. They titled their op-ed, "Heck of a Job, Governor." Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has now weighed in on this issue, calling Michigan officials' response to the lead-poisoned water, quote, unconscionable. Even the White House chief of staff got quizzed about it this weekend on Meet the Press. The nation really is watching this crisis in Flint all the way up to the White House. At his press conference today, Governor Snyder did say they're starting to put together a draft of a request to FEMA, but he says it will take some time to determine what the state needs. Meanwhile, FEMA has sent 3 liaison officers to the state at the state's request. I said on Friday that FEMA sent those officers of their own initiative. That's not true. Actually, the state asked for those few FEMA staffers to come to Michigan, so they'll at least know what's going on in the state in the event that Governor Snyder does eventually someday decide to ask for help. Meanwhile, starting tomorrow, teams of state personnel will begin going door-to-door in Flint. They say for the first time they'll be doing door-to-door distribution of water and filters and lead testing kits. The state tells us there will be 4 teams of 5 people each going door-to-door starting tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you're doing the math at home, that's 20 people in total going door-to-door in a city of 100,000 people. And here's an important point. The state also tells us today they still have not purchased any water for Flint, and they currently have no plans to do so. What the state is doing is taking the water that has been sent to Flint as donations already, and they're taking that donated water door to door. The state describes its job as just getting the water from warehouses to the distribution points. And maybe they will get a handle on that one job soon. There is demand, after all.